Story time about how one of my male centered friends lost everything she had behind a man. Just a little bit of background information. When we first became friends, I knew that she was male centered, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like I had to stop being friends with her. You know how we all have friends who kind of just do dumb stuff when it comes to men? That's how I thought that she was. She also was a very big user of dating apps, and she would always meet men on dating apps and invite them back to her home where she lived alone. And to me, I always thought, like, girl, are you crazy? Like, that's not okay. So fast forward, we decide to go to a R&B concert that's at the State Farm Arena. After the concert, we decide to go from the arena to Midtown to have late night happy hour at STK. Everything's good at STK. We're eating, kikiing, having a fine time. I get up and I go to the bathroom, right? So I come back from the bathroom and she like, girl, why this man come up to me and start having a conversation with me? Girl, he was tall. He was 6'7". I said, well, oh, okay. I said, well, where is he, right? She said, oh, he was just getting carry out. I was like, dang, I missed him. I said, did you get his information? Did you get his number or anything? She like, nah, girl, we just was having a quick conversation. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So we continue to eat and finish up the rest of the night, right? Now, please keep this in mind for the story. I drove to her house where she lives in Lawrenceville. I parked my car there. We Ubered from her house to State Farm Arena for the concert because we didn't want to deal with parking and all of that. After the concert, the plan was for us to go back to her house and kind of have like a slumber party. So just chill, watch movies, talk, whatever. So we finish eating, and once we finish up, we walk outside of SCK to catch our Uber. And 6'7", we gonna call him 6'7", 6'7" and his friend are outside. Now, the way that she had explained this encounter, I'm expecting to see some Adonis, y'all. I'm expecting to see this tall, just real good looking man, right? When I seen him, I was like, now he was in fact tall. Was he 6'7"? I don't know. When I seen him, girl, straight, I'm sorry, but he looks like a bum. He had on basketball shorts, like flip-flops, and a t-shirt. He didn't have no haircut. I'm like, this the man that you're talking about right now? So when I see him, I'm not impressed at all, right? But at that point, they see each other. He walks up to my friend and is kind of making small talk. Because mind you, we're waiting for our Uber. Or we hadn't ordered our Uber yet, but we were in the process of ordering our Uber. So 6'7" is with a friend, right? And so I'm kind of looking like, I said hi, of course, but I'm kind of looking like... So she's sitting here having conversation, like small talk with this man. And so while I'm waiting, I asked a friend to come snap some pictures of me in front of the STK sign. So he does that. He took some pictures of me, and then we had like little small talk conversation. By the time that happened, our Uber showed up for us to go back to her house. So now our Uber is here, and at this point, I guess my friend is 6'7", have exchanged numbers or social media or whatever. I say bye. We hop in the car. We going back to her house. Remember, I told you that we were in Midtown at STK. She lived in Lawrenceville, which is a good 40-minute drive. So we make it back to her house, and remember, I told you that the plan was for us. I'm thinking the plan is for us to have a sleepover, kiki, watch movies, do whatever, and then I'll leave the next day. When we get back to her house, she tells me, oh yeah, I invited 6'7" and his friend back over here. I said, I'm sorry, what? You did what? Why? She like, oh, we're not going to be doing nothing really, you know what I'm saying? I just want to talk to them more, and we're not doing nothing else, so we might as well invite them over. First of all, we don't know these men from Adam. And while they did not look like threatening men, it's still extremely dangerous. Why would you invite men over that you don't even know to your home? You know what I'm saying? So me, I'm irritated about it, but I'm like, they didn't seem like they was super threatening. And me, I got my pew-pew, so I'm like, even if they try something, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, nuck if you buck, for real. So they come over, it's cool, it's chill, whatever. We end up playing Uno, right, sitting at the table. And so we play a few games of Uno, and then we kind of break off into having our separate conversations. I'm talking to the friend about his job because he had a very intriguing, interesting job. So we start having conversation about that, and then I notice that my friend and 6'7" are no longer sitting at the table. So after talking to his friend, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go see where they at, just to make sure, like, Ain't no funny business going on. So I go upstairs, y'all. Why are they both in her bed? He's in her bed with his outside clothes on, talking about, oh yeah, I'm just up here rubbing her feet, giving her a massage and stuff. I'm like, you got him in the bed with his outside clothes on, and y'all just up here having a whole little good time, and you got him massaging your feet like you don't even know this guy. What are you doing? So at this point, it's gotta be about 1:30. So I'm like, well, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about to put my pajamas on and probably get in the bed. So yeah. So she like, yeah, it's time to wrap it up. And so I head back downstairs, and they follow me back downstairs to tell 6-7 and his friend goodnight. So we wrap everything up, we tell them goodnight, they leave, and we both go to bed. The next day we have breakfast, and we're kind of just recapping everything and just chit-chatting, right? And so I'm like, ask her, I'm like, so did you like him, or were you feeling him? Are you interested in him? She like, girl, no. She like, girl, I am going to block him. I don't like him at all. He is not my type. No. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I figured that he wouldn't be your type, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool, right? Never spoke nothing else of them. So fast forward a few months later, me and her go and we have dinner just to catch up and chit chat. So I bring it up like, oh yeah, have you talked to those guys from that night at the concert? She like, girl, no. She like, I blocked them and never talked to him. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Never, I'm thinking I'm never gonna hear from about them again. It's gonna get good, y'all. I promise. Please just stick through this with me. Okay, I'm back, y'all, for part two. So after me and my friend had dinner, life started getting really, really difficult for her. Like, she lost her mom and her sister like within weeks of each other, and she was the person in the family that was in charge of everything. So she had to plan the funerals, and it was just a lot going on, right? And so, me just as her friend on the outside looking in, I'm like, girl, if you need anything, let me know. If there's anything I can do, if you just want to talk, like whatever, like, I'm here for you. Our communication during this time was patchy, but I expected it to be like that because it was a lot going on in her life. So I wasn't, I didn't feel no type of way that we were not talking that much. So once things with her family died down, I get this text message from her. She like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to Texas. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? She was born and raised in Georgia, and she was going through a lot within her life. And so I'm like, moving to Texas might be a fresh start. But things was moving super duper fast, y'all. Like, very weirdly fast. Like, within the month, she had quit her job, sold all of her stuff in her townhome, put her house on the market. Like, it was moving expeditiously. So I'm like, okay, you say you want to move to Texas, and literally a few weeks later you done already sold all your stuff. But maybe, she was just that determined to get out of Georgia. So that's understandable. Long story short, y'all, this girl ended up completely ghosting me, right? So I would reach out to her like, hey, did how's everything going with the move? Did you need any help with the move? Have you sold all your stuff? Just trying to get updates like you would from a friend, right? Nothing from her. So after a few months go by and I don't hear nothing from her after she moved to Texas, I'm like, okay, maybe she moved to Texas and just wanted to completely start her life over, forget everybody that she knew in Georgia and whatever. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. So some months go by, y'all. This gotta be like 4 to 6 months later, right? After not hearing from her, I get this random text message, and it's from her. She like, hey girl, so sorry that I went ghost. It's been so much going on. I really would love to talk to you. I really would love to catch up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how's the move to Texas? Are you liking Texas? What's going on? Y'all, tell me why this girl moved to Texas with 6-7. When she called me and told me that she moved to Texas with 6-7, my mouth was on the floor. Because mind you, this is the same man that you told me months ago that you was never going to speak to again, and now you done moved to Texas with him? I was flabbergasted. Not only did she move to Texas with 6-7, 6-7 was in the military, and I guess he was like had a disability or something where he wasn't working. He didn't have a job. Mind you, y'all, she was paying all of the bills. She paid all of their moving expenses. She paid to move 2 of her cars. She got a job. He did not have a job. So she telling me all of this, and I'm just, my mind is blown. I'm at a loss for words. I can't even talk. I'm just listening. She done moved with this man to Texas, and he did exactly what a man would have done. He started cheating on her. Hello. So she finds out that he starts cheating on her, right? Because apparently, obviously, they moved to Texas together. They became together in a relationship. I missed all of that, right? She didn't tell me. So he starts cheating on her. I mean, he's taking women on dates in her car, just moving real foul. Like, I think he was possibly had an STD. Like, it got real crazy. Like, he was losing his mind. So long story short, things between her and 6'7" go completely south. And I'm just like, you moved to Texas with a man that you told me that you was never gonna speak to again. I was just like, I can't even believe it. I was just like, how did this even happen? And so when you move to Texas, different states have different laws. And when you move to Texas, I believe you can't just break a lease. Like, you know how in some places, some states, you can like pay whatever, and then you can break your lease and just move out. In Texas, I believe you cannot break a lease without paying up the rent for however long the lease is. I'm not sure, but I forgot to tell y'all that in the midst of all of this, she also got fired from her job. Now she don't have a job. He doesn't have an income. She was paying all of the bills. She has pretty much depleted all of her savings, all of the money that she was getting from her job. Like, she has no money. She doesn't have any money to break the lease, and neither does he. So they're going back and forth trying to figure out what they're going to do, because at this point, she wants to move back to Georgia, right? But 6'7", he wants to stay in Texas because he's found himself and he has this new life in Texas now. Child, I was just like, what the heck? So they worked out something, right, for her to move back to Georgia and he stay in Texas and continue to pay the rent on wherever they live. When I say she lost everything, she lost everything. So now you in Texas with this man that you barely know, that you met not even a year ago, that you done moved 1,000 miles to Texas with. You don't have a job, you don't have no money, he don't have no money, y'all not together, y'all just coexisting. You don't have nothing. It's nothing that you can do. Okay, go to part 3, y'all. I'm not trying to make these too long. That's gonna be the last part. Okay, y'all, this part 3, the last part, because I gotta go. So thankfully, my friend and 6'7" was able to come to an agreement that he was gonna stay in the apartment and she was going to take her name off the lease and move back to Atlanta. She packed what little that she had. I think her dad or somebody had to help her move back to Atlanta because she didn't have any money or anything. Now, I'm not sure what she did with her cars. Maybe she still had one of her cars. And I think she sold the other one maybe for some money. I can't really remember because it's been a while. But long story short, she was able to go back to Atlanta. And so she moved back to Atlanta. She had to start completely over. I think she was living like in her dad's basement until she could get a job and get back on her feet and start everything over. Now, here's what got me, right? Because I'm like, okay, you back in Atlanta. And she was kind of reaching out to me like, oh, I want to possibly, we can go out for coffee or something and kind of revive our friendship. And I'm kind of like, So we never made it to coffee, and I'm about to tell y'all why. This girl got the nerve to tell me, basically we was talking about her getting back on her feet or whatever, right? So this probably a month or two maybe after she's moved back to Georgia. She like, yeah, I've been looking for a job. Yeah, I'm staying with my dad in his basement, but this is not gonna last too long. She proceeds to say, yeah, my man told me that I can come stay with him maybe until I get on my feet. I said, your man? I kid you not, y'all. The last text message I ever sent that girl said, oh wow, new man already? I think I blocked her, or I just did not respond to her. I was just like, oh yeah, you gotta go. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Quit playing. Quit playing. What do you mean you have a new man already? She had met a new man either on a dating site, or it was a man that she had already knew that was on a dating site. What do you mean you got a new man? I was so just, I was outdone. I was just like, yeah, it's no room on God's green earth for us to ever have a friendship. You went through all of that just dealing with a man. You trying to tell me that you can't be by yourself for 2.5 seconds before you hop into another situation? She is the definition, y'all, of male-centered. And you have to be so careful when dealing with male-centered women, because they be the type of women that will do anything for a man. Those murder shows that you see that be like For My Man, where women be crashing out and unaliving people over men, those be those types of females. And you don't want that type of female around you because they are dangerous and scary. What do you mean you have a man already? Are you cool? So yeah, y'all, long story short, I never responded to her after that message. She might have said something to me after that. I can't really remember, but she wasn't even a bad person. Like, she was a cool girl. You know what I'm saying? She was a cool chick. It's just, you know, I try not to get too involved in my friends' love lives, because at the end of the day, it's your life. But I don't even want that type of mentality attached to me, because they say birds of a feather flock together, and I promise you, we was not birds of the same kind. I'm not a bird at all. Okay, so let me respond to comments like this, because there's people on here like, why are you telling your friend business and running to the internet telling her business? For one, we are not friends, and we probably was never friends, which is why she handled me the way that she handled me. I'm wrong telling y'all an experience that I actually had with somebody that I thought was my friend. Also, helping people and giving people warnings to what can happen when you make a man the center of your entire world, when you put a man before your friends, your family, your career, your job, your livelihood. Like, are we okay? She made a mistake, and I'm not judging her at all. She honestly, all she had to do as my friend was tell me what was going on. I was reaching out to her, trying to help her, gonna give her whatever advice that I had, and she was not willing to tell me the truth about nothing that was going on. And did she really trust me, y'all? Did she really trust me? And did she really consider me her friend? The actions that she exhibited, did she trust me, and did she really consider me her friend?